How you doing, everybody? Listen, I hope you're all well. It's Tuesday. It's the 22nd of February 2011 and it's in the middle of the evening. I've been away for a while. I had to go off and things are not good in Ireland, so I think they're going to deteriorate a lot more this year. I don't mean to sound pessimistic, but I think that's the reality. Up until last October, it was very much all talk in Ireland, and then what's really happened is people have been forced to deal with the truth. The IMF come in here and with their EU buddies, they virtually have suspended our sovereignty. Our sovereignty's gone down the toilet, and they now run our finances totally and utterly. And basically they've done the same thing with our sovereignty, our political sovereignty, but that's another day's work. And all that's happened is people have all of a sudden realised that things are going to get up. I think, for instance, Jean-Claude Trichet has said that over the next 18 months, the European Central Bank is going to be forced to put interest rates up because of the huge inflation that we're facing into. And it is true, we are facing into one aspect of it's deflationary. That's the banking element of it's deflationary, all to do with credit, etc. But the actual spending on a day-to-day basis relating to foodstuffs and commodities is going to rocket. So they'll be forced to put up interest rates to act as a sort of measure to counter that. And this is going to create major problems for people repaying bank mortgages and financial houses where they've made borrowings from and all the rest of it. I mean, this is just all starting, and I can see the writing on the wall, so I had to go off and try and earn some money. Anyway, I'm back now, so I came back and I wanted to make sure that I was here this week, so I'm going to make a few postings this week. This is an important week in Irish society. But before I deal with that, I just want to say, over the next 2 months, we've been told various dates for obvious reasons. Elizabeth Guelph of England, Elizabeth Windsor, the Queen Elizabeth II of England, they're going to bring her here on an official state visit. That's what they tell us. Now, I find all this extraordinary. On one side of the coin, I'm bemused by it. I find it slightly amusing, which I shouldn't really, but I am, because I wonder who is behind it. Obviously our president, someone major within our state, is behind it, and she's the only one that has articulated this for several years. This little girl from the Falls Road wants to bring the Queen of England here on an official state visit. It's part of her CV. They think like they want to write themselves into history, you know, and that's the bottom line. She's a strange little woman, our president. She's very well liked as a human being. I'm sure she's wonderful, but she's a total and utter Fianna Fáiler, and she's on her last legs as a president. She's on the way out. She's going to be gone this year, and they'll have a new president. And part of the whole thing, this is the last gasp, as it were, to try and write this into her CV that she brought the Queen of England here. Now, the only reason why I raise it is because I want to reiterate this, because people think when I rant on, I give out, that I'm some sort of a revolutionary, and I suppose in many ways I am. I'm an ideological revolutionary, but I'm not into taking up arms, alright? And I only believe you have the right to do that on one occasion, and the one occasion is when you can do nothing else. You have no other options. Unfortunately, I live in a republic, and there are many options, many options. So I'm not into violence, and I only raise this issue about bringing the Queen of England here because I don't want anything to happen to her. I have nothing against the Queen of England as a human being. I know nothing about the woman. She comes across to me as just being a conservative little granny who's got a mixed up family, and it's her politics I don't like. Because I don't like her politics doesn't mean that I want her dead and that I'm going to kill her. Alright? There's lots and lots of people I don't like in the world. But I don't wish them any ill personally. I'm not into doing violence against them, and I'm certainly not into killing them. And I think that we are in a strange position with this woman being brought to Ireland, where serious violent protests could be brought about, and I just don't understand why it's been done. I can't understand, for the love of me. I wish someone would explain it to me, what the purpose of it is. We're facing into a deep economic trauma here, a deep economic crisis. You know, a huge number of people are out of work. We have a labour register here of 2.1 million people is our workforce, and we have almost 500,000 people on the labour register. That means they're either totally or partially been subsidised by the state. In other words, they couldn't live without getting that income from the state every week. So you have that as a backdrop, and then you have hundreds of thousands of people who are in negative equity. And by the end of this year, you're going to have huge numbers of those people are going to be forced out of their homes and are going to lose their homes. The whole thing is just unbelievable and bizarre. And why you would want to bring the leading monarchist in the world, who, as I say, probably is a very nice person, probably a very nice woman. I'm against her. I only raise it because I don't want to see anything happen to this woman when she's here. Because I think, from the point of view of being a legitimate state, a legitimate republic, it would be the very last thing you'd want. And it's just going to cost a huge amount of money to make sure that the security that she has is sufficient, so she arrives here and goes home and nothing happens to her. And we have, within Ireland at the minute, we have a group of mad dogs all running around the place who, their attitude about politics and their attitude about anybody they don't like is to kill them. So, I mean, these boys try and kill British soldiers up in the north of Ireland, and lots of other people that they don't like, and RUC men and all the rest of it are Northern Ireland police officers. And the bottom line about it is, so that's their attitude against minions. Can you imagine what their attitude would be against the woman who is the titular head of all those minions? My God, it doesn't bear thinking about. So, as I say, I don't understand it. To me, it's totally confusing. It would be like going down and provoking a mad dog. Say you had a group of mad dogs in a garden, and you went down and you had this big white rabbit, a big fat white rabbit, and you waved it in front of their faces, and one of the dogs jumped up and tried to bite the rabbit, but instead of biting the rabbit, bit you. Who would you blame? Who are you going to blame for that? And this is a situation we're in here. It's almost like a provocation. That's the way I see it anyway. Maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe I've got it wrong. I don't know. But I just hope, if they press ahead with this situation, that the woman arrives here safely and she leaves here safely. Because, as I say, I think it would be really, really bad if something were to happen. Doesn't matter. No matter what it is. We live in a strange, strange society, and weird, weird things happen in this society. Anyway, I wish the woman the best. I don't agree with her politics. I don't agree with what she stands for and others, but I don't wish her any ill. But I just wish she wouldn't come here. And if people want to protest peacefully, let them protest peacefully. That's their right. But that's the end of it. The other thing I want to say then is, I want to talk about what's going to happen here on Friday. On Friday we have we're going to have a general election, and it's going to be basically a free election. Essentially, voting cards come in for the bulk of people. I know there'll be some problems with some of the people won't get their voting cards, and other ones, you know, there's always problems no matter what the state organises, wherever the states organise anything. Any state organises it. Similarly with the Irish state, there's always going to be a percentage of people will feel disenfranchised because of the mechanics of the whole thing. Now, all I want to say is that it's going to happen here on Friday. About 3 million people will have the vote. And the only reason I raise it is, I hope everybody uses their vote. We live, comparatively speaking, I know I give out about it and all the rest of it, but we live in a society where you can bring about change in small amounts, incremental change. That's all the vast majority of people want. I've told you before, the vast majority of people only want 3 things. They just want enough food. Food and water. Some clothes and a bit of shelter. That's all. They don't want anything more. Everything else is promoted on top of them. Everything else is foisted on them. So the first thing we got to do is we got to get rid of this government that we've had in power. These green creatures, first of all. And above all, Fianna Fáil. We have to cut their testicles off. We have to remove them for the foreseeable future out of Irish politics until they have a whole revamp and a whole rethink. And then the message will go out to this other crowd that are going to be incoming. It'll probably be this Fine Gael crowd, right? But I won't be voting for them. And all I want to say is, I don't want to advise people how to vote. I just want to say, you all know my politics. I'm a lefty. I always vote one way, generally speaking. I vote for independence and I vote for left-wing independence. That's the way I vote for people who are into social cooperation. That's all. Very simple. And generally speaking, in Ireland, that's lefty. People that are left-wing, generally speaking, are that way. So that's why I'll be voting. How you vote, I wish you the very best. All I would say is, please use your vote. Please go down. If you have a voting slip sent out to you, please use it. Because see all those countries that are all having riots and women and children are being shot and planes and helicopter gunships are shooting them out of the sky and all down in Libya. That's all there. That's one of the things that they want. One of the things they want are free and open elections. And a large number of people won't vote in this election because they're disenfranchised and because they feel let down by politics. And all I would say to those people is, please don't feel that way. Please use that vote. It's a sacred thing. I think individual votes are sacred things. I think that state elections, when they're open and free and transparent, have a legitimacy that we haven't come up with a better system so far. I certainly haven't seen one. For all its flaws, for all the problems, I don't believe there's a better system. So please try and take that on board. Use your common sense. Vote for people that you think will represent your interests, and they will represent the interests above all of the common good of the people. Try not to vote for too many cats, as I've said before. I'm a mouse. I was born a mouse. I'm a left-wing mouse. I was born that way, and I'm going to die that way. And I always vote one way. How you vote, it's up to you. Please use your vote. Even if you destroy your vote, it doesn't matter. Even if you go down and you write something on it instead of putting X's and your ticks in a bit of paper, it doesn't matter. If you want to destroy your vote, destroy it. That's your right, but use it. Use it. It's a sacred thing. That's my humble little opinion about it all. Listen, we talk more.